welcome to Two Peas Potting, our book-themed podcast filled with our book insights and a lot of judgment.
The judgment.
An exceedingly amount.
Yep. And I'm Kylie.
And I'm Sam.
Listen, we're having a lot of issues this time.
It's been a time. We recorded like the first 10-15 minutes of our podcast, and it got really
types of weird.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
Coming for you. Ruining our stuff.
So today, we are covering Scarred by Emily McIntire and book 2 in the Never After series.
Yes. And this one, I really like this one. I mean, we know I liked Hooked, and I really enjoyed Hooked, but I feel like Scarred was such a good transition book to really make you realize that they're a series, but they're not a series. Because Hooked is, like, the time frame is set present day, and Scarred is set back, I don't know, in my mind, it was, like, medieval times, but then when I, like, looked it up online, it was, like, the 1910s. But I felt like it was older than that.
I felt like, honestly, I was feeling like 1800s.
Yeah, it felt very, like, you're still dealing with kings and queens, and they didn't have guns.
It felt Bridgerton style to me.
Yeah, they didn't have guns, like, it just, that Regency, like, right before Regency era.
Yeah. And, this one was loosely based off of The Lion King. And
that made it hard for me. Trying to picture these characters when I'm like, oh, it's based on Lion King and not a lion. Very hard for me.
I kept envisioning Michael as the mayor from Zootopia the entire time. Just him, though. Just him. Like, because I envisioned Tristan very low-key.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
low-key, you know, the
with a scar.
Some would call him villain.
He's a villain.
Yeah. Oh. He's not a villain. He's an Avenger, goddammit.
Now.
Well, yes, but he's always had my heart.
Okay, I can see Tom Hiddleston as Tristan.
Right? There's just something, it's like, if this was a movie, if they didn't have Tom Hiddleston as Tristan, I would riot.
Yeah, I can see it. Just like that tall, thin frame. Because that's how I pictured him. I didn't picture him as like, oh, I have so much muscle. Like, that's how I pictured Michael.
Yeah, enter the mayor from Zootopia.
With luscious hair.
Yes. And Tristan was, like, Loki, you know? Like, dashingly charming and handsome, but, like, didn't realize he was handsome because he always lived under his brother's shadow. It's Loki. Tell me it's not.
That's fair. That's fair. But, so, this book, we have our male main character is Tristan, a.k.a. Scar. And the female main character, her name is Sarah, and she is supposed to be Sarabi. Mm-hmm. And then Tristan's older brother, Michael Mufasa.
Which I loved her little, nod to Lion King, and their last name was Fasa.
Yes, Michael Fasa.
I loved that. Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, aha!
I like all of her little nods in all of her books. She gets them in, like, those places where you, like, because I feel like as you're reading, you forget that it's based off of, like, something you already know. Like, when I was reading Hooked, I forgot it was about Peter Pan. In Scarred, I forgot it was, like, based off the Lion King. And then she would throw in those things, and you're like, oh, yeah! Like, when you meet, like, Xander, her cousin, who is obviously the most annoying Zazu you've ever met in your life. And so,
Yep.
like, just those little things. And I feel like there's something else.
And
There's
then
something about
Raphael with his walking stick.
Rafiki. See, that
Yeah.
one, it took me a minute. I was like, Raphael. And then, like, as I read on, I was like, oh, the crazy monkey.
Oh, and then Simon. I liked that one.
The
Simon
precious
was Simba.
little nugget. Loved
Yeah.
him. Because you meet Simon right at the beginning of the book with Tristan.
Oh,
Like, they're
yeah.
hanging out. Like, he's such, like, a fatherly older brother figure to him. And I was like, I think you meet him in, like, chapter 2. And I was like, I
He's,
swear,
very early on.
swear to God, if anything happens to this kid, I'm not reading it. I'm done.
Throw the Kindle on the couch. Be done with it.
I would. Because I can't throw it across the room. Those things are too expensive to do that. Hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't want to do that.
But this book is, I don't know. For me, it was a slow burn.
No, it definitely was, I feel like, too.
Like, with the chemistry between, like, Sarah and Tristan, like, you go into these books, you know it's a dark romance, you know that somehow they're gonna end up together, and I'm just like, alright, happen already! Like, let's go! Why isn't anything happening?
This one did take a while for that because,
I
mean, right off the bat, when they met, you could tell that they had...
She arrived!
You could tell that... Yeah.
At the house, and they, like, make eye contact from across the courtyard. And you're just like, instant spark.
Yeah. Literally, when they're just staring at each other, you're like,
So it took so long, and it was like she does a very good job at the slow burn, though, I will say. Like, there are some books that I read where I'm like, okay, this is just getting stupid at this point. But the way Emily McIntire does it, it makes sense. Like, you're like, oh, are they gonna kiss? And then they don't, but then you're like, okay, but these characters' reasonings as to why not, like, make sense for the characters. It's not, like, bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she did a really good job. I didn't hate the slow burn aspect of this one, though, because I felt like it was fitting for the storyline.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. And normally I am, like, anti slow burn.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
don't
you
make
hate.
me wait. Makes me so mad because then I get excited. I'm like, they're finally gonna kiss, and then they don't. They're finally gonna kiss. Like, just do it. Just do it.
It's the blue balling. It's the blue balling that you don't like.
No, nobody wants blue balls.
It's like, dude, you're basically getting edged by your book.
And I don't like that. Nobody well, not nobody. Some people do very much like that. But I don't. Damn it.
Don't kink shame. Oh, God. Don't ick somebody's yum.
I'm gonna, because I don't want it done to me.
I get it. Out. I had my ick with Wretched, but we'll get to that.
Oh, I'm not looking for that one. But our story begins. The story starts off, like, right after the king's death. So, Michael and Tristan's dad. And I don't think we ever got his name. It was just the king.
Yeah, I don't think we did either.
And Tristan had a really close, like, bond with his dad. He actually had a relationship with his dad, unlike Michael, who his dad was just preparing him to become king because he's firstborn. Because that's just how it works.
It was that time period where, you know, if you're the firstborn son, you're automatically going to get the throne. So, like, you don't really get the fun childhood experience. You just have to, like, learn how to become a king one day. Is basically what Michael's childhood was like.
But then he also got away with being a complete and utter dick to literally everybody.
Specifically to Tristan.
Yes.
But yeah, he tortured Tristan. You know, okay, there was a part when Tristan was talking about his childhood with Michael to Sarah, and in my mind, all I saw was was Loki and Thor when Loki pretended to be a snake and then went to go stab Thor as a kid. That's what I pictured when he was talking about his childhood moments. I was like, yeah, they gave me Thor and Loki vibes. I'm not even gonna lie.
But if Thor was even more unlikable and worse.
Yeah, if Thor was an asshole.
Like a
Which we all know.
major asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, obviously, Tristan feels a lot of resentment and has a very, very deep resentment towards Michael just for the stuff that went on in their childhood. And now he has the throne and he's just doing whatever he wants with it. And so Tristan is like, no, you're a piece of crap. You don't deserve this. I want the throne. I would do a better job. I'm a better man than you.
Well, yeah. Tristan felt like he could actually lead their people and not just be like,
I'm gonna do what I want. Fuck bitches, get money.
Dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt very dictatory with Michael.
Very totalitarian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in comes Sarah. So Sarah lives in another town, like another court. It's
yeah,
all
like
part
another
of, under the
kingdom
kingdom,
style.
but in a court somewhere else.
Yeah.
And her dad was one of the royals, and he passed away. And so, due to the Fossa family.
Yes.
And so, she has a huge vendetta against them. So, her and her cousin Xander and her uncle Raphael come up with this plan to send her to the castle to become Michael's wife, aka the queen.
Yep.
Because not only did the Fossa family kill her dad, they're not distributing the wealth and the resources to anybody outside of like where the town is around the castle. So people are dying of starvation and they're not getting what they need from their king. So it's personal and not personal at the same time.
Yeah, it's personal and for the greater good, essentially.
Yeah.
You just got to really see that greater good part, honestly.
And so they all plan, and so Xander ends up going way before Sarah leaves, and he's like becomes Michael's like right hand.
Yeah.
Man.
Like his right hand man, his like second in command, essentially. Basically, I'm gonna relate it to the Lion King really quick. Basically, when you watch Lion King, it's Zazu and Mufasa. That's essentially what he is, because he is
in
Zazu.
with the reports, what's going on, like enact whatever he tells them to do. So they plant in Xander, and then Xander kind of whispers in Michael's ear, like, "Hey, man, people aren't gonna like it if you don't get a queen. Like, you need a wife. Let's start.
Wink,
I know
nudge,
a girl.
Nudge.
I know a guy.
I know a guy for that.
I got somebody in mind. And she's a royal. So... She won't taint your bloodline."
Exactly. And so, Uncle Raph is over there plotting with Sarah about this, and basically, like Sam said, she plans to go and get revenge and go marry Michael. But marrying Michael, she plans to murder him so that she can be in charge of the whole kingdom and then split.
She's gonna murder them all. Them all being Tristan and Michael. Yeah, the Fossa family. She's gonna end their bloodline so no more tyrant kings can go into power.
Mm-hmm. Tyrant. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Got you. And so she thinks in her mind, like, this is going to go great. I'm going to infiltrate. And the moment she arrives at this castle, she gets out of the carriage. and feels this presence. And like in my mind, I envision this like 30 plus feet away. Like in a willow
Oh, me
tree,
too.
there's a figure under the willow tree and she makes eye contact with him. And it's Tristan. And there's just like an instant like, ooh, who is that?
There's a fling moment where they just instantly spark.
And then both of them are like, well, we can't get attached because I have to kill them.
Yeah, literally. Oh, that was pretty funny. Where it's like, well, we can't get too attached because I'm killing you.
I'm gonna murder you. And the moment Sarah meets Michael, you can kind of sense like there's something off about him. Like a little off his rocker, but you don't like know what yet.
Yeah. You sense it, like something's wrong with this guy, but I don't know what. Like who hurt you, basically, type of deal.
Who hurt you? Who did this to you?
Really?
And so she meets Michael, sees her cousin, gets settled in the room, and gets given this like, this girl weirded me out. Her housemaid, basically.
Oh,
Ophelia?
Ophelia? Yeah,
She's
she
weird.
was weird. That whole character was really weird because it was her demeanor.
She gave off like almost like jealousy vibes. Like
Yeah.
somehow she was gonna end up with the king, and I'm like, girl, you're a maid. You ain't ever gonna end up
Like,
with
you
royalty.
can fancy him, you can be his side hoe, you can be his side chick, that's fine, but he's never gonna marry you because you're a servant.
Yeah, because your bloodline. Like you don't have the power behind you.
Yep.
And so, I mean, good on Sarah. It's like, I really liked Sarah because I feel like a lot of times authors make female main characters very like ditzy and they don't know what's going on around them, and she's like, I clocked this bitch. I gotta watch what I say around her because it's gonna get back. Like, she is not somebody that I can entrust with secrets.
Yeah, she was like really, really smart, and like she read people's vibes like really well.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And so, since she couldn't ask her maid for help, nighttime rolls around and she starts snooping. And I think these are like parts of like my favorite of the book. Like when she starts snooping around the castle, like looking for things. Because like when I read stuff like that, I'm like, oh god, you're gonna get caught, and you're gonna get caught by the wrong person. Like it's gonna be
No, I do
bad.
the same thing. It's like so thrilling, and you're just like on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, your heart
your
rate
heart's
like
pounding because you're like, you're gonna get caught.
you're like, oh god. And so she starts snooping around the castle to try to like gather information. And as she's snooping, I don't remember how, but she like finds this tunnel system.
I think.
I feel like it was by
I don't
accident.
remember. I think I like accidentally pulled on something that revealed the hidden door, type of thing.
Yeah. It was like
Like it was one of those things.
Didn't mean to find it.
Yeah, it was
And
like,
then,
and see, the castle I envisioned kind of like Hogwarts-esque.
I don't know
In the
how I
sense of like dark and stone and like, you know.
Yes. It was very dark to me, and then but I like, the tunnels were hard for me because like I didn't picture them like going under the castle, because the way that they were described, it feels like they were like in between walls.
Yes, and that part, I was all over the place envisioning stuff with this book, but that part, the tunnels, reminded me of in Hotel Transylvania when Dracula is taking the human boy through the tunnels.
Yeah,
like, they're just not hidden; they're just kind of there.
Yes, but you just wouldn't know that they were there if you didn't know, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had heard about the tunnels from Tristan because somehow his brother doesn't know about them, but he's the only royal who knows about the tunnel. So he uses those to his advantage.
Oh,
And,
absolutely. That's how he sneaks in the night.
and so that's how he hid from Michael as a kid. That's how he got away from him.
Mm-hmm. It was like his hiding place.
Mm-hmm. So Sarah discovers these tunnels and she's like, all right, I'm going to go in. And she's sneaking down this dark ass tunnel. Good on her. Like, I would not be able to walk into somewhere where I couldn't see jack shit.
I'm afraid of the dark. I can't do that shit.
Like, not even that. Just like stumbling your way. Like, what if there's a pit and you fall in and die?
That's why I'm afraid of the dark. I can't see.
And she stops because she hears voices. She hears people talking in the tunnel. And whose voice does she hear?
None other than Mr. Tristan Fossa.
And I think at that point he was talking to Simon.
I think so.
He was telling him
I
to
think
go.
so, and that's like, it like made her heart melt because he was a totally like
A
different
brooding, mean man talking to a child. My heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was so like he was a different person in the sense of like he was very loving, and like Sam said earlier, like he was just Simon's only father figure in his life. And he just had this bond with him that you couldn't explain. You just knew that he loved that kid a lot, you know.
And so somehow, I loved this. Somehow, Tristan knew she was there. And so he sends Simon off. He's like, go run along. And like immediately is like on her and is like, what are you doing in here?
It was like I don't know, like they just could feel each other's presence.
Yes.
It was like their body would like start to tingle or something, or like, you know, where it was like I just knew he was there, like I knew it was him, or like he was all, I knew it was her. I felt her presence, and it's like, wow, little old me.
Wow.
What?
And that's like their first moment that doesn't become a moment because it's a slow burn.
It's the moment is them expressing how much they hate each other, even though they don't know each other. They just are supposed to hate each other.
Yeah, you know those moments
So,
that you see in the movies where like I hate you so much, and you can just see like their
yeah,
attraction is
it
just
was that.
washing off of them. Like I hate you, and you're like you're full of shit, dude. Just kiss already.
Like yeah, you totally hate me. That's why you're like drooling and like your heartbeat's racing and you're starting to perspire because you're next to me.
But yeah, that's hatred, unadulterated hatred,
That's how I act every time I'm around someone I hate.
loathing.
Oh god. Yeah, so they tried to tell themselves they hated each other because that's what they were supposed to do. But they both knew that there was this weird electricity between them, connection, like soul bond, if you will.
Yes, and all the while, like Tristan has been creating this rebellion, resistance. I don't remember what they called it.
A rebellion.
A rebellion against the king to
Yes.
fight
Which,
for his right to the throne.
and the rebellion people are the hyenas, essentially.
Yeah, I think one of them, her name was Shanna. Shanna?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
Something like
Shirati.
that, yeah.
Like, there are three of them. There's Sharina, Edward, which is Ed. And then I can't
Yeah,
remember
Ed.
the other one.
I always forget his name, too.
But there were three characters that you very much knew were the three hyenas.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so they would go to this, like, tavern outside of town, and they would have, like, these rebellion
It was
meetings.
called, it was,
It was like the elephant graveyard or something. It was something like that.
yes, that's what it was. Yes. The elephant graveyard, because I remember reading it and I was like, oh, that's so clever.
And
Lion King's my favorite movie. I don't know if I said that, so I was going crazy over this book.
You're like, ah.
I really was. That's my favorite Disney movie.
It is a good one. But one thing I didn't catch on to was the cook and the other. Oh, he wasn't a cook. He was like a servant. Timothy and Paul being Timon and Pumbaa.
I didn't realize that until the notes you shared with me, and I was like, oh,
I
shit.
didn't either until I was like looking up the characters because I couldn't remember their names, and I was like, oh my god, that was Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, it just didn't click for me.
Me either. And like, it's funny because when I go into
that's
these
how
books,
good.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But like, that's how good she is at disassociating her characters with the characters you know.
Well, and like when I start these books, I always try to be like, okay, who is who? But then once you get into it, you forget. You're just in it.
You forget. Yeah. And then there's a moment when you like it clicks. Like for me, there's usually a moment later on where I'm like, oh, that's this guy.
Like, or like when the Elephant Graveyard came up, and I was like, oh, that's a good name.
Yeah.
For like a dusty tavern out in the middle of nowhere. Like,
yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah. It was. Her Easter eggs are great.
Yeah, I agree.
But every time Tristan and Sarah have an encounter with each other, they start out accidental. Like they just always accidentally run into each other, and because they're both sneaking around the fucking castle. So
yeah, because they're trying to spy on Michael and go down with his bad stuff.
Every time they find each other, their assignment or the lines that they can't cross start to become like faded because they start to like cave into that like attraction that they have.
Yeah.
What? That like pull they have to each other because they're like, there's something about you
that I like, but I'm not going to admit that I like it, and then I'm going to be like, actually, no. I remembered I have to kill you. If I told you this, I would have to kill you.
That's basically it. Yeah. But, you know, they obviously, you know, it's a dark romance and like the two main characters, the villains, end up with each other or whatever. And so, you know, they start to fall in love. And nothing happens at first. They're very like...
Yeah, they're very like, but we can't, like, I can't show that I'm falling for you because I'm supposed to be marrying your brother, and I have to make him think that I am falling in love. And I love, there's one chapter where Sarah and Michael are together, and he is very much like, oh my god, that character made my skin, just made me angry. Like, red flames coming off my face. Like, the way she had to, like, stroke his ego just to have any sort of conversation. Like, he didn't have any conversations with her. It was all like, oh, yeah, I'm so great. And she's like, yeah, you are. And I feel like there was one scene where they're, like, having tea or something that rich royal people do. And Tristan comes in and, like, you can immediately tell, like, that attraction is there, and he just, every time he sees his brother, he's like, oh, well, it sucks to be you, you're fucking ugly, you're fucking dumb, and just starts jabbing at him. And Sarah has to really work to pretend that there's nothing there, because at that point, like, those feelings have become stronger and stronger.
Yeah, because Tristan, being, you know, the sly little dog he is, he likes to push those boundaries with Sarah, and he would try to see how close he could get to her, or like how long it would be until she would crack and like kiss him or something. Like he would literally be like this fucking close to her, like to where they were like breathing on each other.
And then be like, okay, bye, and you're like, what?
I think one of my personal favorite scenes was when they were having dinner in like the grand room or something, and Tristan was next to her and he just started like fondling her, and she was just like, what the fuck?
And had to act like nothing was happening.
Yeah, she's right next to Michael, and he's like holding her hand, and she's
Oh,
just
and
like,
that was when like there was like other people too. Like
yeah, it was a
it was
whole
like a
ass fucking
ball.
like event.
Yes.
Yeah. And Michael's just sitting there stone faced, like,
I'm here.
or Tristan, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. So there's a lot of tension between Tristan and Sarah because they're falling for each other because they end up spending a lot of time together without meaning to. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
Because that magnetic pull is just so strong with them. They just want to be with each other all the time. And so Tristan's desire to kill her has faded, and now he wants to protect her. Which, tale as old as time right there.
Yeah. And I feel like with that, it really shows Tristan's like true personality. Like who he
Yeah.
actually is, not the like facade that he puts in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Like
he's
you
definitely
said
starting to
last.
treat her the way that he treats like Simon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, when you pulled out the Wreck-It Ralph quote last week, just because he's a bad guy
Doesn't
doesn't
mean
mean I'm
he's a
bad
bad
guy.
guy. And then
Yeah, he just, yeah.
And then I remember they were trying to keep Simon protected. Because isn't he technically
Yes.
Michael's son?
Yes, so the story behind Simon, because Sarah started to kind of like question, if you will, why Tristan had such a close bond with Simon. She was like, oh, like, is he just a boy that you protect or what? And he's like, well, he's actually my nephew, but his father wants nothing to do with him because it was one of his like side hoes, one of the maids, and she basically had to get rid of the child and put him out in the streets. So that's what he is doing. So Tristan takes care of him and like is showing him like, I'm here for you. What broke my heart though is, remember when Simon asked if Tristan could be his dad?
Oh, yes. Like dagger to the heart right there.
Oh my god. I think I like audibly was like, ugh.
I was like,
I was like,
no. Well,
my
and then
heart.
after that point, when he had asked him that, I was like, he's gonna die. He's not gonna live through this.
I thought so too. I thought
Because,
so too, and I
well,
was like, I swear to God, they better not touch Simon.
I would throw something. Riot.
Immediate 1 star.
DNF. Like killing the dog. Can't do it.
Yeah, fuck that.
So I don't remember the context, but Sarah and Tristan were spending a lot of time together, and he like was all this time. Sarah is still snooping, like she's still gathering her intel, her information, and she follows Tristan to the Elephant Graveyard Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she discovers the rebellion. And
yeah, I think she was trying to follow him to see where he always disappears to, and like at this point, her cousin was missing.
Right, Xander went missing.
Yeah, well, okay, actually, prior to this, Michael had received a gift from the rebellion, and that gift was a hand.
Oh, that's right.
And they believed it was Michael's hand, or not Michael's hand. The fuck is his name? Xander's hand. And so obviously Sarah's gonna be upset because that's her family, that's her cousin. So she was like, if it's the rebellion, and she's like, no. And she starts following him to see where he goes. At this point, she didn't know he was the leader of the rebellion.
Yeah, well, and at that point, once they believed that the rebellion had kidnapped Xander, she was like, all right, now I'm against the Fossa family. and this rebellion. Whoever the king of this rebellion is, like, I'm coming for him.
Yeah. And then
Ooh.
she goes through these tunnels, and it leads directly to the elephant graveyard. And she's like hiding in this like doorway and like just kind of peeking through. And that's when she spots her cousin in a fucking cage. Like a damn animal.
Well,
It just made myself laugh. That was a good joke.
He deserves to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the time, we don't know that, so we're like, why is he in there?
Tristan, why would you do that?
Yeah. And they're all gathered, all the little minions are gathered, waiting for their leader to come up. And then this man gets on stage. She feels a fucking magnetic pull. And she's like, oh no. And it's fucking Tristan. Tristan is the leader of the rebellion. And she's like, oh my god. And then he talks about what to do with Xander. And somebody said burn him, right?
Yeah, they're pretty brutal.
They're obsessed with fire. Let's start with that. Fucking pyros. I mean,
they
it's
didn't
fair.
have guns back then, so they had to improvise.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'd probably be obsessed with fire too. I like fire.
And so...
normal amount.
A normal amount. So she sees Xander stuck in a cage, and so then she's like, well, crap, like, I gotta get him out.
Yeah.
Can't just leave him there.
Yeah. Because her uncle's also, like, distraught and mad that his son is missing, which rightfully so.
I mean, yeah. He sent him there to be with the king. He should be the most protected that he's ever been.
Right? Especially being the king's, like, second man.
You would think. It wouldn't be easy to kidnap.
But also, if the rebellion leader's on the inside, that makes it a lot easier to kidnap somebody. Yeah.
And I feel like, if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't Tristan die there that night?
Xander, you mean?
Yeah. Did I say Tristan?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
Xander.
Yes.
He doesn't directly kill him, right?
No, he tortures him for information about something. I forget. It's something about Michael. He triggers information from him and then decides he's done with him and burns him.
That's a rough way to go.
Yeah, I would rather not die by fire, but that's just a personal preference.
Not while still alive. End me first, and then...
Even then, I would rather become worm food than be burned, dead or not. Something about it just freaks me out. I know I have, like, I'm weird about that. I don't like cremation because it freaks me out. And people are like, you're dead. I'm like, I don't care. It still freaks me out.
It's still weird, and I don't like it.
Like, just bury me.
Put me on the ground, 6 foot down.
Yeah, I'll become one with the earth. I'm okay with that.
But, so then, Sarah is like, her whole world is tipped upside down again. Like, she felt like she was finally, like, connecting with somebody. She felt her and Tristan, like, had a similar goal of overthrowing Michael. And that just, like, went out the window. So she, like, rushes back to the castle. And she's like, oh god, like, I gotta figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm. She's in full panic mode because she's like, I have to marry Michael, but I was starting to fall for Tristan, but now I realize he's the rebellion leader, and he just killed my cousin, so what the fuck do I do now? Like, how do I tell my uncle that my cousin's dead? And I watched.
And something, I feel like once they found out that Xander was missing, Raphael decided, like, I'm coming to the castle. Like,
Yeah, he did.
we're going. And
Yeah.
so,
He basically took over Xander's spot.
yes. Well, took over. He came in to be like, why the hell aren't you looking for my son? Why aren't you taking this more serious? What the?
Yeah.
And
Like,
then
why are you not taking the steps
somehow,
to actually find him?
and I feel like that was like so fake too. Because he like, it seemed like he cared for like the first few days and then was like, actually, like, oh, that's fine. You want me to be your royal vizier? Okay.
Yeah, literally. Like, he got over it really fucking fast. And it's like, your son is like, I mean, you don't know this, but your son's most likely dead. You realize that, right? And you just don't care.
Yep.
Cool.
And then, oh, and then we forgot about this part. So after Xander was kidnapped, this is when they're doing like parades in town to announce that Sarah and Michael are going to get married.
Oh, yeah.
And like they tell Sarah specifically, like, do not get off the carriage, do not go talk to people, like the rebellion is here, like you're going to be in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And she got really close with Timothy, who's one of the guards, who's also partners with Paul, aka Pumbaa. And yeah, I forgot about this. And so there was a little kid, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go up and like say hi to this little kid." Big mistake. She should have fucking listened. The rebels attack, and Timothy goes to save her and ends up getting killed.
That was so, that was so sad about that. But even
And
more, Tristan was pissed after that, too.
yeah, and he was mad at her too. Well, he was mad at her because she didn't listen, and then he was mad at the rebels being like, "What the fuck? Why would you kill our own? Like you know him."
That, and the bullet was aimed for her, and he was like, "You do not touch her. I told you guys not to touch her."
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's when he was in love with her at this point.
Yes.
And he was like, "She is protected. We do not touch her."
And
And they didn't listen.
that's when she follows. It wasn't Tristan.
Yes.
She follows Paul and the girl who's supposed to be Sarabi. Or
Oh
not Sarabi.
yeah,
Yeah.
her best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Follows
one that she
them.
brought with her.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's when he like addresses them and is like, "The fuck? Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, and then didn't he end up killing the person who tried to kill her?
Yes. I think he killed him first in front of the crowd, and then they directed their attention to Xander. And while he was torturing them, it comes out that Xander killed Tristan and Michael's dad.
Yes. That's what, yeah, okay, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, this is when shit starts getting, like, this is when we're reaching the peak, and all this stuff is about to go down.
Yeah. Well, and that's also Xander had told Tristan, like, "Oh, by the way, you think you're hot shit. My cousin's here to kill you, fuckers."
Yep.
Which also, like, how fucking dare you? Like, you just, like, blew this whole plan up.
Literally.
Like, you know you're gonna get
Like,
killed. Like,
it's like, okay, so you know you're about to die, and you're trying to take me down with you? What the fuck? It's like, let me avenge your death, sir.
and what I found another big, like, interesting, like, character moment for Tristan, that even after finding out, like, Sarah was sent to kill him, like, he still was like, "No, I'm gonna do whatever I can to protect you. Like, it's fine."
Yeah. Well, because I think at that point he knew that she wasn't trying to kill him anymore, because they had, like, basically their mutual understanding that they loved each other. but they couldn't do anything about it, and he had already, you know, fondled her.
And so from there, they have their rocky, toxic relationship, and they're like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, let's kill Michael. So they decide, like,
Yep.
he convinces her to band with the rebels, and they're all gonna try to kill Michael together. So they come up with this plan that Sarah's gonna drug Michael, and then the rebels are gonna, like, swarm the castle and take care of everything. The plan
Yeah.
sounds great until it isn't.
Yes.
They definitely,
Exactly.
like, I was not expecting, like, I knew that this plan wasn't gonna go in their favor,
Oh, not at all.
but I don't think I realized how bad it was gonna get. Like,
I
it
don't
got
think they even
worse,
knew how bad.
and then it got worser.
There was no getting better. It was just worse to worser to the absolute worst.
And so, what I thought was interesting about this is, like, so when Sarah goes to drug Michael, like, somehow he knew, and he, like, had made the comment, like, oh, you think I'm dumb enough to
Mm-hmm.
fall for this?
She was trying to lure him into the bedroom
Yes.
to
And
drug
he's
him
like,
from that point. And yeah.
and he's
And
like,
that's
I
when he
knew
was
you
like,
never
"You dumb
liked
bitch."
me. Yeah. Like, I know
Yeah.
you've liked my brother this whole time, you fucking idiot. Like,
Like, you think I don't know that you guys are busy sleeping together, doing all this together? Because at one point they do end up sleeping together.
yeah.
And
And
Tristan was so mad because she had to go and like gallivant around with Michael. And every time Michael touched her, like Tristan was burning on the inside because he was like, "That's my woman. Why are you touching her?"
yes. And so he ends up making her drink. It was like a thing to make him pass out. It wasn't to kill him.
Yeah,
But he makes
it's
her
basically
drink it.
chloroform.
And surprise, surprise, her feelings about Ophelia were correct. Like, she was in on it. She's like, haha,
Fuck
bitch.
Ophelia.
I got you.
And she was like, "I never trusted you, anyways."
So, all the while Sarah was snooping, Ophelia was spying on her, watching everything that she was doing. So she knew everything that Sarah had done from the moment she got to the castle up to this point.
Well, because Ophelia actually came into the room the night after Sarah and Tristan did the nasty, and Sarah was still like naked in bed, and one of her girls that was like on her side kind of saved her because she bled a little bit on the bed because it was a little rough. And she's like, "I got you," and she's like, "Okay." And so yeah, she was trying to protect her from Ophelia basically. And then it turns out Ophelia was one of Michael's side hoes.
Yeah, one of his minions.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ends up tying Sarah up, and he leads her down to the courtyard, and that's where they find Tristan completely restrained and being tortured.
Yep.
In front of Simon.
Yeah, that broke my heart too. But I was still afraid for Simon because I was like, no one better kill him.
I know. I was like, they're not going to kill the kid. They can't kill the kid. Like,
I would have put it past Michael though because he was such a shitty person.
He was so shitty. So
yeah,
she ends up, after he had dragged her to the courtyard, still tied up, she ends up passing out from the drugs that he made her drink. And when she wakes up, she's in the dungeon.
Yep. And she's like, "It's a fuck."
And one of the rebels frees her. One of the rebels who was working in the castle frees her, and they still have Tristan. But Tristan isn't just in the dungeons. Like, they have him locked down, guards on him at all times. So there's no way for an inside person to try to get him out.
Yeah.
So that's when, like, Sarah really has to put everything aside and go back to the rebellion and be like, all right, we have to save him. And also,
we gotta get our leader.
wasn't it... Didn't they not know Tristan was the prince?
Yes, they had no idea.
Somehow they didn't know that he was the prince.
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't know, but they didn't know. And that was amazing to me, because I was like, how do you think he has all this dirt? Like,
yeah. I think he said that he was like just a servant in the castle or something.
Oh yeah, he could have said that.
So once the rebellion found out who Tristan was, they instantly like, we don't trust him. He was working against us the whole time. Like, this was all a setup. How dare he? And so Sarah's like, no, like, he's been on your side the whole time. Like, he would never leave one of you guys if it was you in this situation. And she's kind of like a badass bitch. And she's like, I'm gonna go on my own. If you guys come with me or not, I'm saving him.
Mm-hmm. Sarah was probably my favorite female character in the whole series. Like, of all the books.
She was badass bitch.
She really was. She really was.
And so they
Which
all...
is fitting,
because... Sarabi.
Mm-hmm.
So they all go, like, they agree, and they storm the castle to free Tristan, and it's a bloodbath. So she immediately, like, gets Tristan free, and she's like, you have to get out of here. Like, this is not gonna survive if you don't get out of here. And, of course, Tristan, being the sweet little kind-hearted man he is, his first thing is, I have to save Simon, who's hiding in the tunnels. So he goes into...
I love that he told him to hide in the tunnels.
Yes. Because nobody else knew about it. Except for the people who were a part of the rebellion, who wouldn't hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tristan goes to save Simon, and Sarah knows she's not going to win the fight, so she gives herself up to Michael and her piece of shit uncle, who's still on Michael's side.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Which, stupid fucking uncle.
So while Sarah is, like, basically imprisoned, but not in the dungeon, just imprisoned in the castle with Michael and her uncle, she's trying to reason with her uncle, being like, why are you siding with him? Like, we've seen all the bad things he's done. Like, him and Xander killed the king. Like, Xander is not who you thought he was. And his uncle's like, he's exactly who I thought he was. Because I told him to do that.
Like, I already knew that. Mm-hmm.
And as she's, like, tied up and stuff, it comes out that it was her uncle who killed her dad. So it wasn't even... This whole mission that she had been sent to do was completely made up and not justified when it was him.
Very unnecessary.
And so she felt, even more betrayed. Because she's like, you're my one
zero family at this point.
Yeah. You were like my father when my father died. And you're the person who killed him. You sent me to kill this innocent person, the person I ended up falling in love with, for your own personal gain.
Yeah, and that's all it was, too. It was just his own personal gain.
Yeah, he wanted to become king. Or Xander to become king.
Yeah.
And so Sarah ends up killing her uncle. She's like, yeah, I am going to kill the person who killed my father. I'm continuing my mission. Death.
Just, a different person is being targeted now.
Yeah. And so all the while where she's discovering all this is happening, Tristan rallies the rebels again. He's like, we're saving my lady. Like, she stood up for you and she didn't have to. Like, we're going back. And they set the city on fire.
Literally.
Like, yes. Set it on fire and start for the castle. So there's nowhere, basically smoking them out. There's nowhere for them to run and hide. Like,
call back to the Lion King.
Yeah, can't go hide in a burning building. And so then this is when Sarah kills her uncle. Tristan is chasing Michael. He's like, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. All the shit you did to me, we're about to get even. And
payback's a bitch.
I mean, most people have seen The Lion King. You know the size difference. Like, Mufasa was always like the bigger, stronger, while Scar was the smaller, weaker. Same concept with Michael and Tristan. And so they start getting in a tussle. And Michael is on the side of a cliff, so very Lion King-esque. And Michael is like strangling Tristan. And you're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then our badass bitch Sarah comes in, bam, 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 stabs the motherfucker. Off the cliff he goes. This is the one time I never cried for Mufasa. Like, motherfucker deserved it.
Honestly, yeah, same. I was terrified that Tristan was gonna die, and I was like, wait, that's not how this is supposed to go.
That's not how the story goes.
Oh god. Like, even in Lion King, Mufasa always dies.
Yep. Sorry, Mufasa.
Rip for the Lion King, Mufasa, but not rip for this one.
Yeah. So she kills Michael. Now there's no king. So of course it automatically defaults to Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
So Tristan takes the throne, but then there's that caveat because we know Simon is technically Michael's son. So in reality, it would be Simon who gets it over Tristan because he's the firstborn.
Yes. But I think they have to wait till he reaches a certain age.
Well, and they talked about it. They're like, well, we're not gonna tell anybody who Simon is yet. Let him grow up. Let him live his life. Because people aren't going to accept him after the king has just been murdered.
Oh, so yeah, absolutely.
Tristan, and you can't expect a child to get a kingdom back in order. So Tristan takes the time, I think it was like 7 or 8 years, takes the time to get the kingdom back together. And then when Simon is of age and has done all the studies and has learned how to be a king, and a good king, not a corrupt king.
Not a piece of shit like his father.
Yeah. They have a celebration and they pass the crown to Simon because Tristan says he doesn't need it anymore because he has Sarah.
Yeah. And I think the age that Simon became king was like 16 or something like that.
He was young.
Yeah, it was like, but that's back in the 1900s. That was like the age for shit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got the king, and then it was a happy ending because Tristan and Sarah were together and happy. And
the kingdom was happy.
The kingdom was happy. Simon got the dad he never had in his uncle.
Yes. All the bad guys were dead.
Was a good uncle. Yep. All the bad guys were dead. And yeah, it was this one. I didn't feel like the ending was actually rushed in this book.
Me either.
Because she did really good with like doing the climax so early on, and then all the downfall afterwards that led
I think
to the bad stuff.
But I think this story, like if we're comparing Scarred right next to Hooked, it has such a different story where there was one piece of conflict in Hooked. In
Yeah.
Scarred, it has multiple levels because it goes from Sarah being sent to kill the Foster family, to her falling in love, to her confiding in Tristan saying like, let's kill your brother together, to finding out that he kidnapped and killed her cousin and is the leader of the rebellion who also tried to kill her, to finding out that her uncle was the one who actually killed her dad. And it was just, there was a lot more things that I felt built up
Yeah.
to where it didn't feel like all of the action was happening at the end. It started more like, I would say like 65% into the book. Like you were a little
Oh
over
yeah, absolutely.
halfway, but it wasn't super far. Like you didn't have 20 pages left. Like it definitely
Yeah.
started building where more and more bad things were happening, to where I feel like the final climax of the book was Sarah convincing the rebellion to go back and save Tristan. Like I feel like that was like the major climax to the result.
Yeah, like there was the one main conflict, and then there was like a bunch of little ones in between that were getting solved that was leading to the final solving. And it wasn't like a, here's the problem, boom, done.
Here's the problem, we killed everybody, fixed it.
Yeah, where it was like, okay, here's the problem, deal with that problem, go down, deal with this problem, deal with this problem. Now here's the main problem. We go up a little bit, and then we lead to like a satisfying conclusion. Like this
Yeah.
one was, I feel like, was done out of the series, I think the best.
Dang. Is that a biased opinion or?
No, totally unbiased. But that's just my own personal opinion. I think the second best one is probably Twisted.
I thought you liked Hexed a lot.
I'd say it's Twisted. I did really like Hexed, but the final thing was all it was rushed, just like the other ones.
Mm,
The whole book is really good, but I just didn't like how like the ending.
that's fair.
That's why I didn't get a full 5 stars for me.
Yeah, the more, I don't know, looking back, I always rate books when I finish them, and then like I think about them more and I talk about them more, and then I want to like go back and change my rating because for like the order of which I like, because I've only read the forward, and I think the top for me
Yeah,
would be Twisted, then Scarred, then Hooked, then Wretched.
yeah, yeah. I'd say my favorite one, honestly, is Hexed, just for like the whole storyline aspect of it, and then it's Scarred because I really, really loved this book, and
This one is
then
really good.
Twisted and Wretched.
And then Crossed at the very
But
bottom.
like, yes, yeah. I'm gonna have way too much to say when we cover that one.
I gotta read it. I'm getting there. I've been in a real reading
I
slump.
don't even remember it, honestly.
You can't leave it up to me. I forget books an hour after I read them.
I know. I'll figure it out. But okay, so my rating for this book was a 4 or 4.5, one of the two. I didn't want to fully give the 5 stars. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong. Just, you know,
that's
there
fair.
were
Like
some, like I said,
a five for me is if I would sit down and reread it again.
yeah, and like basically, I really enjoyed this book, and I enjoyed how the relationship developed between Sarah and Tristan, and I liked the small plot twist with Michael finding out about Sarah and being like, "Yo, bitch, I knew the whole time." But I loved how the justice was served to Michael.
Yes.
My problem and why I didn't rate it 5 stars is because I don't feel like Ophelia's role was brought to light enough. Like it was just kind of, I told him about this, and then boom, she was dead. It's like it was very anticlimactic and unfulfilling, and that's why I didn't give the full 5 stars, because it was like you could have done a lot more with her. You know,
Yeah.
you could have fit her in a little bit more in that book, but I really liked this book. Like, it was my favorite before I read everything else.
I agree with that. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but just like talking about it now and going over it again, I think I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's me, because I initially started with a 4, but after talking about it, I'm like, actually, it deserves a 4.5.
Like, it was a really good
Because
book. Like, just
the
all the
part,
pieces.
yeah, it was really good. It was very well written, and like you said, all the tiny conflicts, I think, is what made it that much better, because it wasn't just one main one it was focusing on.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree. Spice for this one though, I feel like I gave it like a 1 out of 5. It wasn't like super
no, it really wasn't. It took too long to get to the spice, and I was a little upset about it.
slow burn.
You know how badly I was looking forward to like the spice in this one, but no. And
But I
it's solely
think that's
because I
what
was
made
picturing
me enjoy
Loki.
it more because we didn't have all that spice. She had more room to add the scenes that
Yes.
made the book good.
Yes, this book was really good. Even like, I mean, me and you have talked about it. Like, I don't really care if the book has spice too much. Like, if I'm in the mood for that, that's what I want. But if I'm just kind of reading it to enjoy it, I don't really care. And that's kind of how I
Yeah.
was with this book going into it. I was like,
I want a
I was
good
excited to
story.
read it because I was like,
Yeah.
it's a twist on Lion King. Of course, I'm excited. Like, I don't care what's in this. So yeah, it was good. Now, what was the overall rating for this book?
3.86. I feel like that is low.
That's some horseshit,
I'm
in
just
my
surprised
opinion.
more people didn't like it more, you know?
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that one too, because I mean, we went over it. It was a really good book. It kept you interested the entire time,
Yes. But, I mean,
even
to her
with the
defense,
slow
I
burn.
feel like most of her books are really good at that.
Yes, yes,
Like, she
I
is a
would agree.
good author. An entertaining author.
Yes, she is. I can even say that reading another book by her right now. I'm almost done with it,
Woohoo.
but yes, it's really good. It's so good. But yeah, so that is Scarred,
By Emily McIntire.
book 2 in that Never After series.
2 out of 6. So, you get 4 more installments of this series from us. If
Yes.
I get my butt together and read it.
Yeah, so we don't know when, after that 4th one, we don't know when you're going to get crossed and hexed, because
Yeah, I mean, I want to read it, but at the same time, like, I just need a break from these books. Like, I need to read something else.
I understand. No, it took me a while to get through this series, only because like it is a dark series, and like for my own mental well-being, I have to take a break from the darkness every once in a while.
I love a good rom-com book every once in a while. I need something happy.
That's why I am simultaneously reading this new Emily McIntire book along with Lights Out.
Yeah, I have Great Big Beautiful Life. I said I was going to start reading that days ago, and I still have not picked up a
I
good one.
know.
I
The
have just
last
been
time we
in such a
recorded, you said you're
slump.
gonna start. Actually, for funny story, you said you were gonna start that.
Yeah. I'm in a slump. I don't feel like reading.
That's fair.
But
And it is your summer break now too. You just got out of school.
yeah, normally that's my time to read, though.
True, true.
But normally, like the first couple
You'll
weeks of
get
summer
there.
break, I just veg and watch TV because I never have time to watch TV shows and just binge shows. So I'll be
Yeah.
doing that. And so I did check out a book from the library, so I have to read that because it has a due date.
The Outsiders.
Yes. Which
I'm so excited for you to
I
read
can
that.
sit down and
It'll
read
be
in like
fast too.
an hour. But
Yeah. It's such a small, quick book, and I'm gonna reread it.
yeah, reread it and then we can talk about it on here.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes. I will.
But yeah, that
I'm ready to get hurt again.
I don't know if I'm ready, but I will do it anyway.
It does hurt. I'm just gonna tell you that it does
That's
hurt.
what you said. That's how we got all the conversation of me reading this, because I was telling you about a book, and I was like, that's the first book that ever made me cry. And you're like, have you never read The Outsiders? And I was like, no.
Oh yeah. Stay gold, pony boy.
So, I will read that.
Yes. All right, but we also, probably should have said it in the beginning. We have news. We started a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. I was like, what news? I have only been uploading stuff all day. What?
Literally.
Yeah, so
And
we
our
decided,
YouTube channel is called, Two Peas Potting, as always.
as always, we
And
decided
the
to put
handle
up
is
our
the same as Instagram and TikTok. It's the same _ got underscore.
the underdash. The
That sounds
underscores.
like a name from Incredibles.
It sounds like a wrestler. Stepping into the
It reminds
ring.
me
Underdash.
it reminds me of the Incredibles when it's like, I am the Underminer.
So our handles for TikTok, Instagram, and now YouTube is 2_peas_ potting.
I'm just not gonna say it anymore.
No, it's the new thing. It's gonna get to the point where you say it enough that we're just gonna say our handles that way, and people are just gonna know what we mean. But yeah, you can watch our full podcast episodes now on YouTube. If you don't feel like just listening to us, you can watch our facial expression and what we're laughing about, because sometimes, we're pretty funny.
I think so.
Most of the time, I entertain myself, so
And sometimes you might see my dog in the background, like in this one. He made an appearance quite a lot back there.
That's true. That's true. You will not see mine in the background because it's a wall.
Yeah. But you have a cute background.
I do. It took a long time. 5 coats of paint later.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Damn.
But yeah, go like and subscribe to our YouTube, and like and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is probably where you're going to get your most up-to-date information. That's where we post about when episodes are going to drop, and we post a lot to our story.
We do. Just kind of unhinged random stuff, but it's funny.
It is funny. And, it has sometimes useful information. We'll always put our links for our podcast and now our YouTube in our Instagram stories.
Yes. Yes. But yeah.
Thank you for
tuning in.
Like
always, thank you for tuning in, and we will take requests on books you want us to cover, books you want us to read, what you want us to talk less about or talk more about.
Yeah, I always need more books to add to my never-ending to-be-read pile. So.
Why the fuck not, right?
You only live once. Get the book.
That's a dangerous motto.
That's how I've ended up with the amount of books that I have ended up with.
You know what? I actually counted my books the other day. I have 99.
I don't want to know how many I have, because I know I have a lot more than that, because I have all those shelves full. I have a shelf on the other side of the room full. This bookshelf is full, and now there's stacks of books on top of the bookshelf because there's no more room on the shelves. And I think if I counted them, Blaine would kill me.
Probably. But right back there, that's pretty much on my little built-in shelves I have in my room. I have more packed somewhere, I just don't know where they are. Which is a good thing. That's okay.
And I also have a box of books that I got. I went to they had a book sale, and you got a box, and you filled it for $10. So that was
Bro,
also
that's
very dangerous.
dangerous.
So,
Yeah.
but they're being quarantined right now because book life scares me.
I didn't even realize that was a real thing for the longest time until
Yeah,
somebody
TikTok
like
introduced me to that, and I was like, excuse me?
I
What do
think it
you
was a
mean?
book group that I'm part of on Facebook that introduced that to me, and I was like, what? Like, come again, please? What?
Yeah, that's not my favorite. That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
For another episode of Two Peas Potting. And check us again next
Potting
week
through
for
life,
another
one book at a
episode.
time. All right, bye
Bye,
guys.
guys.